good evening. See, I feel like I'm in the morning right now. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing good, doing good.
I've
Good.
seen better days as a Cowboys fan, but I'm here. I'm here.
Well, it's a good thing we're not talking about the Cowboys or my Giants this week, okay? We are week 3. Tonight, I have a possibility. I am so close to being in first place for my pool. I'm
Nice.
sitting at 11-3.
Look
Yeah,
at you.
because I didn't pick the Cowboys.
All right now, Tracy. All right now.
So we're talking. There's a lot of headlines that we need to get to this week, gentlemen. Again, welcome to the Kick Six Pod. If you have any comments or you would like to chime in on the show at any time, please comment in the comment section and we'll get back to you. So, well, I mean, there's a lot of big headlines, but where do we start, right? So I'm just going to pick a random one right now. Let's talk about the Ravens. The Ravens game, Baltimore Ravens, a little bit of tragedy, a little bit of comedy, all rolled into one. The officials, people are saying that's it. It's the officials' fault. They shouldn't have lost. What are your thoughts on the Ravens? I mean, I don't even know where to start on this one. I mean, this was another week where we're all like, whoa. So Coach Kirk Broussard, we're going to start with you. The Ravens lost. Is there hope? Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, are they in trouble?
Yeah, I mean they're 2-1, and I mean it's still early in the season. They caught a tough break last week, but Lamar still is who we think he is. I think it's been some shakeup, there with his receiving core. So you're seeing him kind of get used to those guys and try to get on the same page. But I think they caught a bad break last week, but I trust that they're going to get the shit back right. I trust Harbaugh. I trust that system. They've had a system that's worked for a long time. He's steady, and they have a certain way they do things. And like I said, they're 2-1. It's early. I think we're going to see the Ravens in the playoffs.
I mean, the coach did say it's a long season for a reason. You don't crown a champion in week 3. It's all about where you go from here. But Carlos, we're talking about week 3 and the Ravens. Do you see that there is a possibility that they can turn things around?
I am concerned about a few things about the Ravens. For one, you're bringing a new offensive coordinator in Tom Monken from Georgia, and I'm still not seeing a lot of different formation, exotic things that they're doing on offense. That was all the news about them. Like Kirk said, they got new offensive pieces. You got Odell. You brought in Zay Flowers. You brought in some of these guys that's coming off injury. And, the offense still only put up 19 points versus the Colts. I will give the Colts more credit because I think they're a little bit better than what people have said in the offseason about them now that we've actually got to see them for a few weeks. But still, to put up 19 points with the weapons that Lamar has, and then the other thing is the injuries. Every single year, it piles up. You look at the injury report already, it's 5 to 6 guys on season in the injuries. I don't know if it's the training staff, what it is with those guys, but they never seem to be able to make it to the finish line. So they got to stack wins now. Hope to get some guys back healthy. I just want to see more out of that offense. I want to see more flavor to it. I want to see just unleashing Lamar, let him do everything and not give him baby steps because I think he can handle everything that they can throw at him.
Yes, as the coach said, I mean, it's week 3. We're not crowning a champion week 3, but usually you can peg one.
Yeah.
The first couple weeks into this.
I think Carlos hit on a great point. Losing Greg Roman and bringing in Todd Monken. I mean, Greg Roman was a really good fit with them, and he was really innovative, and he catered things to fit Lamar, things that he was comfortable with. And we're going to see if this marriage works with this new offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm. Well, another team that had a struggle this week, and I think we are all frustrated as the viewers, and then of course people on the team, players are frustrated. The Jets, Zach Wilson, struggling again. What are we going to do? The second week in a row, 2 players engage in animated discussions with coaches during the game at the Jets because they lost their 15th straight to the to the Patriots, 15-10 on a rainy day. Do we blame it on the weather? Or do we just say, you know what? It is time to move on from Zach. I mean, When you have players that are getting in heated arguments during a game against each other and with coaching staff because of one player, what goes on from here? Coach Kirk Broussard.
Yeah, I think it starts at the top. This head coach, he's a new head coach, hadn't proven himself, hadn't proven that he can organize and run a NFL organization. You cannot have that on the sideline in the middle of a game. I know tempers flare, things get heated, but that's something that you have to constantly harp on with your team as far as staying, one and staying on the same page and not letting your emotions overpower your intelligence. You just can't have that. And that insubordination that was caught on camera for the world to see, it looks bad on the Jets organization. Not that being said, you still got Zach Wilson. I'm on record somewhere on one of our old podcasts that I did not believe in Zach Wilson. I thought it was a wasted pick. I said he was going to be a bust when he's back at BYU. And look at what we're seeing. I mean, the guy he completed 8 passes all game. He's not going to be able to get it done. Robert Silas needs to go to his organization and say, hey, look, we need to get a quarterback. They need to get what they can get for Zach Wilson, get him out of there, get a free agent quarterback.
But Robert's sticking with him.
Yeah.
He's saying, yeah, he's fine. We're going to make this work. He's going to be good.
No, I'd be calling Tom Brady. I'd be like, hey, look, we're in New York. We'll offer you whatever you want. We need you. They got to find someone at quarterback or his job is going to be cut short.
Yeah, Carlos, Zach Wilson, struggling again. Week 3, we're seeing this. It happened last season. We're seeing this continue into this season. What are your thoughts on him? Like, is there a prime person to replace him? I mean, we can ask that as well. But let's just talk about Zach Wilson and your thoughts on him.
I mean, someone to me feels bad for the kid because, of course, going into this year, you got Aaron Rodgers there. He's doing the big brother thing. He's tootling them along, and he's getting prepared for the season. And then you just get thrown into the fire. No fire is hotter than that New York media. They already got a taste of the guy last year. That was the reason he got benched because he wasn't ready for the situation. He wasn't ready for the moment. He couldn't take accountability for his actions. And now you go into this season, and he does not look like he's progressing. I think that's the most alarming thing out of all of this. It was multiple plays where he had guys down the field. He just didn't pull the trigger. In some cases, yes, the offensive line didn't hold up and things like that, but he looks like a guy that's lost all his confidence. He doesn't know where his fastball is at, and he's in over his head. So, you do need that steady hand. I think the thing that the Jets really regret is that they did put their trust in having a 40-year-old quarterback with him as the backup. They didn't go out and sign a Joe Flacco. They didn't retain Mike White, who had a good game in the Dolphins yesterday in their shrubbing of the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
You could have kept that guy. There's so many other routes that they went, but they put all their eggs in the basket for Aaron Rodgers. And the Jets, lo and behold, nothing against the Jets, but we've always seen these type of tragedies happen with the Jets organization. They can never have a good thing. So part of me feels bad for Zach, but at one turn, you got to start to think about long term. You're losing your team. Like you said, they're arguing on the sidelines. Guys are getting upset. That is a top 5 defense. Those guys are not getting any younger. They don't care that Zach Wilson needs to go through his progressions and learn all this stuff. They're ready to win now. As far as other options, if I'm them, hey, pick up the phone, call Minnesota. Kirk Cousins is not going to be there next year. You guys didn't extend him. You know what this is at this last portion of it. Let's call Kirk Cousins. Let's see what we can get going with that. Find something. Try to get Mike White back. But to be stubborn and just to say that Zach Wilson gives you the best opportunity to win, that's just not being honest. That's not a genuine answer. Know that's watching the home on the couch, this guy is not ready for this moment. You're going to need to do something about that position sooner than later.
Do we really feel bad for Zach, though? I mean, at what point we've always talked about, is it the coach or is it the player? Right? Whose fault is it when they're losing? But at what point do we say, Zach, you need to be held accountable and stop acting like a princess on the sideline, thinking that you are entitled to this? Like, at what point do they say, okay, you know what, you're done. We are moving forward. Do you think that they would move forward for him, or do they feel like they kind of owe this to him because of the whole Aaron Rodgers thing?
Hey, Coach, like I know, when you make such a high draft pick for a guy, And this is like that. I think it was the general manager, one of his first top picks. It's hard for those guys' egos to move off of guys like that because they put so much into having him, making sure that you get that pick right. So sometimes it's an ego check. They don't want to do it just because it makes them look like, hey, I made a terrible decision at number 2. To your point, I think he's done a little bit better this year in some of those press conferences that I've seen, where he's taking a little bit more accountability. But it is him. It is. I mean, I don't think they've done themselves any favors with the play calling. They've done a lot of runs on first down, so you really don't have a run game involved because they're stacking the box. So you're putting a lot on this guy's shoulders, who we already expect is not going to do much. So that's why I say I feel bad for him because of that part of it. I don't feel bad for the attitude that he had carried it though.
Okay, Carlos, you brought up the Dolphins game. So let's talk about the Dolphins game. My God!
Ooh.
Now, they had a chance to make history, right? If they went to the 73 points. They could have made history because the last time, the one that's more than 72 points, Washington scored in 1966, the game to set the record for the most points scored in a single regular season game. Instead, Coach Mike McDaniel told the backup quarterback to take a knee as the clock ran out, and fans booed them. Like,
rightfully so.
What were they thinking? But I mean, the Dolphins were talking about a score of 70-10, 70-20, taking the Broncos out. Whoa, were you expecting this week 3? The Dolphins, us saying, well, we said at the beginning of the podcast season, they were going to be the team that's going to be, wowing us. But your thoughts on the Dolphins game?
I think the Dolphins are, they're showing us so much on offense. I mean, when you break down that offense, the motions that he used to get his guys open, to get Tyreek Hill a running start into some of his routes. I mean, the guy's really innovative with some of his play calling, when you really break it down. So, I mean, I think they have everything they need. I mean, the offense has got so much talent around Tua. Tua's staying healthy. Thank God he's been healthy through the first few weeks. And the defense is humming. They did a great job on New England. Bill Belichick normally comes into these matchups with a great game plan to corral that offense. But when you look at the Dolphins, they just couldn't be stopped. So, I really feel like the Dolphins are the team to beat right now. And I like what they're doing.
Yeah, nobody's saying squish the fish this week, are they? No. I mean, what a turnaround of fans. All of a sudden, everybody's a Dolphin fan this season. Yeah. Carlos, let's talk about the game.
They deserve it.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell y'all like this. I would have kicked that 3. I sure the hell would. Hey, you don't like it, stop it. Let me go on and set this record. I like what Mike McDaniel said at the end. And, you don't want to set bad karma for your team going forward. You don't want to humiliate people and all that kind of stuff. Those dudes are grown men. And if Sean Payton could talk the way he talked about all these different teams when he was on the sidelines for that year, when he talked down about Tua, and he said that he was going to get replaced by Teddy Bridgewater, and he's saying that Nathaniel Hackett was the worst coach. If a guy ever deserved it, it was kind of Sean Payton. Shut your mouth sometime, because if you're going to get back into coaching, you're going to have to face these same guys that you were talking crazy about. And they're just building a track team out there. We're talking about guys just running 4.2 and 4.3. Whoever, I knew about Devin A-Chain as a SEC guy, but I'm telling you, half of the world probably didn't know just how good and fast that guy is. You put A-Chain on the field with Broussard, Tyreek Hill, and Jay Waddle. Waddle didn't even play yesterday. But we're talking guys sub 4.3, 4.2. If your Ducks are not in the row, they're going to blow you out. They're going to run right past you. You're not going to be able to get a hand on them. And with the way that the rules are set up, this is a tailor-made offense for today's game. So you better bring your chin strap, get your lunch pail ready when you see the Dolphins come to town, because the only thing that's going to slow them down is probably the weather. That's the only thing I can see when it starts to get a bit cold outside. Outside of that, those guys are track stars. They're going to run right back.
Yeah, when Tua is efficient as he was 23 or 26, over 300 plus yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, and then I don't know what the Broncos' run defense was doing. It's like it was non-existent. They gave it 350 yards on the ground. So Peyton and Russell, it's a lot of pressure on them to produce, and that was embarrassing.
Do you think they gave up, Coach? I hear a lot of people saying that they feel like towards the end of that game, they weren't even trying anymore. They was just letting guys run back. You kind of seen that, but you never want to say that about a professional. But I think I've seen some of that, man.
They not only gave up, but I think it was personal for Mike McDaniels with him being from Denver. And when he was up for a head coaching position, he mentioned that they didn't even interview me. So that game was personal for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't go and try to break that record, because you don't know if you're going to get that moment back.
Yeah, I think he tried to have a little class at the end.
Oh, it's football. Come on.
We're just going to drop 70, but not 73. Damn
exactly.
It, don't kick that damn
I'm going to be a modest person.
Playing.
Yeah. My ass. Okay. The Bears. Are they just plain horrible? Is there any saving? I mean, the Bears fell 0-3 on the season on Sunday, yesterday, when they lost to the Chiefs 41-10. Now, after the game, Justin Fields referenced the Lions' 1-6 start to the season as a reason not to worry. Now, is it time to bench Justin Fields? And, we'll get to this a little bit later, but was anybody even really watching the game, or were our eyes up on a certain box during that game looking at somebody in attendance? Maybe that's the reason why they were so crappy yesterday. Carlos, we'll start with you. Let's talk about the Bears. 41-10, they lost yesterday to the Chiefs. What do you see is happening on the field?
I always hate to see when a good player, a good prospect goes to an organization that's not able to surround him with not just the necessary talent, but the coaching as well. You just see so much regression. This guy was so confident coming out of Ohio State, even as far as last year when he set all kind of records rushing and things. And now Luke Getsy, the new offensive coordinator up there, wants to kind of curtail and make him a pocket passer. And you can tell he even said it himself. It makes him feel like a robot. He's unsure of himself. One thing that we know, coaches, is athlete confidence is everything. The moment you lose your confidence and stop you more thinking than reacting, and you're not doing the things that naturally come to you with your abilities and talents, these are the type of things that can happen. I feel like they got so much in his head, taught him what he needs to be doing in the pocket and things like that. Not to mention that offensive line is not great. They got a lot of problems. That's why they had so many high draft picks over the last couple of years. But people always want to point it to the quarterback, but there's so many deciding factors into that. That organization seems like it's a mess. The defensive coordinator just had to resign under some suspicious reason. $100,000 worth of equipment was stuff. It's like it's so many different layers to this. You have to have stability in order if you want these type of things to work out. You don't hear about these type of problems in well-ran organizations. So to expect and put it all on Justin Fields, I think it's a bit unfair.
Coach Kirk Broussard, let's talk about the Bears. Any saving week 3?
The Bears look poorly coached, poorly organized from the top to the bottom. And it's a shame, like Carlos said, that Justin Fields is with an organization that doesn't appreciate him enough to get the right tools around him for him to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really a waste of talent. And like he said, he's in an offense that does not fit his skill set. He's uncomfortable in that offense. He doesn't have any protection. And, with the Bears, like Carlos said, there's been one thing after another of suspicious things.
Mm-hmm.
The coordinator to the thefts. And it just looks like it's going to be a long year for the Bears. I mean, what can you say?
I mean, I know we said week 3, but I think we kind of know the direction of where teams are going right now. Now, Ohio State football program continues to pour out excellent talent into the NFL. And we see this with CJ Stroud. He's the latest example of that. I mean, after a back-to-back sensational performances from CJ, the Texans already have answers for their 2023 number 2 pick. But CJ announced himself as the real deal, okay, during the Texans' dominant, game 37-17 over the Jags. The real deal. Are we really thinking this? And if we are, should we be saying this right now? Because I mean, karma sometimes can be a bitch, and we're going to talk about that with another guy that's getting karma served to him. But what are your thoughts? I mean, he's awesome. Is he the real deal, Coach Kirk Broussard?
I'd like to see him get a few more good games under his belt before he starts tooting his own horn. And then I like for him to be humble. I like for him to be a humble quarterback. And it's great to have confidence. You need to have confidence at that position. But at
Yeah.
this stage, being a rookie, just keep your mouth shut, get in your playbook, and work your butt off to piece together more good games like he just had. But I mean, I will admit I was a little unsure about him at the start of the season. It kind of got off to a rocky start there in preseason. He didn't look so great, but it seems like it's starting to come together for him. And hopefully he can stay on the right path. They got some good tools around. I love the head coach they have in place. I love the running back there with Damian Pierce. They got some good young tools, and seems like they could be trending up. But I think he should just lay low, piece together some more good games, and then we'll see where he stands in midway through the season.
I mean, CJ joins Cam Newton, Justin Herbert as the only quarterbacks to ever throw for over 900 yards in their first 3 games.
Yeah.
I mean, he has been phenomenal so far. We can all agree. And the sky is the limit for this young man. And we are looking forward to seeing his career evolve. But Carlos, let's talk about, him saying he's the real deal and really putting it out there. And as Coach Kirk Broussard is like, dude, just, you know what, prove it, but don't say it, basically. What are your thoughts on CJ?
I mean, I get it. When he was coming out, remember all those prognosticators that were saying he didn't do good on the new school wonder league. Is this guy hands big enough? All these guys poking in at him. When's the last time you seen a great Ohio State quarterback? Those guys always play him out. So I would take it as a reference as that's my little comeback to, hey, all you guys and haters and people that said that I wasn't going to be this good this soon. Here's that. But of course, you always want to see your guy be humble in those moments. But hey, if he doesn't say anything else about this year, I'm okay with it. If this becomes a trend and he wants to pump his chest out by beating the Jaguars, yeah, we're gonna have to slow down, pump the brakes on that. But
Yeah.
I give the guy a break this time because he had a lot of people saying a lot of crazy things about him coming out. I think he's just letting them know I'm here to stay, baby.
Hey, the Jaguars might be a playoff team.
Only because they're in the AFC South. I'm here in Nashville, and I tell you, buddy, that division sucks, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it is not good. So we might get a 8-9 team out the playoffs or something like that from this division.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough.
Talking about it, let's talk about another guy that was very confident about 2 weeks ago. Put it out there like he's the best coach out there. Let's talk about Deion Sanders. I mean, Colorado got their butts whooped, and he even said that they played like garbage. They got an old-fashioned butt kicking on the field, no excuses. But I mean, the last 2 weeks, his brand sunglasses had skyrocketed like millions of dollars, and what the projection is because he was so cocky for the first 2 weeks. But
Yeah.
let's talk about, did Deion just get kicked off the track here because he's now having to deal with other teams that are just better than his? Coach
Carlos.
Kirk Broussard, Carlos.
if you're really a football fan, you knew that Colorado team was going to run up against adversity at one point. Yeah, did they get lucky that maybe that TCU game? They really won the Nebraska game, and they maybe got lucky again in that third game. But, I mean, it just comes down to the big boys up front. He doesn't have the hogs right now to go up against a top 10, yet alone a top 5 type of school. They just don't have the resources right now in the right positions. They don't have the offensive line and things like that. But I always go back to say this about Coach Prime. He doesn't take shots at other teams. Now, he may talk about his own program. He may talk about his players. He may talk specifically about a coach. But one thing that everybody says he's cocky and he's talking down, he doesn't talk down about other teams. I've never heard him say, this team does this, they suck, or something like this. But everyone has a chip on their shoulders because you have a confident man that knows his abilities and also his motivations, and he talks strongly and confidently. But again, he's not talking down on somebody. He's rather trying to pump his team up. Yeah, he's a commercial guy. I mean, he's got the KFC commercial. He's got the shades on. I mean, this is what he is. He's a swaggerful person. That's just what he is.
He's a businessman.
I like his quote. He always says, don't let my confidence mess with your insecurities. And I always take that and run with that because I think that's really important. A lot of people are insecure about whatever they got going on, and this confidence projections on them as he's being an arrogant asshole. And they're like, no, this guy's a Hall of Famer almost in two different sports. You're damn right he's a little bit cocky and a little bit full of himself. But I just like the fact that I don't think he does it in a negative way for his team. Others take it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he has time to take shots at other schools because he's too busy talking about himself. But you know, he's I don't know, man. It's interesting because in the coaching profession, you know, for centuries, it has been frowned upon to self-promote yourself. That's just not what we do in coaching. And so, you know, when does it cross the line of being cocky or just being confident? Where's that line at? You know, with Dion, I don't really have a problem with what he's been doing. I mean, he's marketable. You know, that's really never been done in the coaching profession, but he's taking advantage of it. As long as he sticks to the core values of motivating his team, putting God first, like he always talks about and he does, it seems like he's bringing a lot of good to kids that could use it, you know, bringing a lot of positivity to them, giving them a lot of old school traditional values that's been lacking in college football. And he's not afraid to stand up and say, hey, if you don't like it, hit the road, Jack. You know, so I applaud him for that. And I applaud him for what he's doing. He's breaking the mold of what society has looked at with minority coaches. You know, he's breaking the mold of minority coaches being able to come in and be themselves. And that's most importantly, that thing I respect about him is he's being who he is. He's being who he always has been. So, you know, you can't say, oh, this is not the Dion that we knew. This is who he's always been. So I think, like you say, Los, once he gets the Hogs up front, you're going to see a different ball game, and people won't be able to push his team around like the Ducks pushed him around pretty bad this past weekend. So, and then
sometimes you need that though. Like the team may have needed that, you know, so early in the season to be like, okay, guess what?
Yeah.
You know, you're not all that in a bag of chips.
And it's going to be more that coming this week with USC. I mean, USC is a big dog. So expect for him to struggle potentially again next week. But I think as he gets time to get more of his guys in there, you're going to see a turnaround.
You know, I just don't like how some of these other coaches come out and want to make it about, you know, him and like, you know, Jay Norvell taking that shot. A lot of people took it wrong. I actually didn't have any problem with the coach of Oregon. I think it's Dan Lanning was saying during halftime, what he was saying after the games and things like that. That just comes with the territory. Like you said, Kirk, if you're going to be, you know, confident and you're going to be one that's always mentioning yourself, your team, and things like that, you got to give motivation to other coaches and things like that. One thing I did not like about Dan Lanning is saying that we're a substance school. We're not a stylistic school. Last I checked, Oregon is up under Nike. They have 15,000 different uniforms. They always got different colorful shoes and things like that. So I'm like, okay, Dan, all right, let's slow down on that a little bit because now you're going into a territory where you're making it seem like Dion has no substance. He definitely has some substance in what he's saying, but he knows, like everybody else knows, you're not going to win every game, especially not this year at Colorado. He takes his lot. He walked off the field. He shook the coach's hand. He congratulated Oregon on winning that game and said that, like you said, they kicked our butts. He did nothing wrong to me, in my opinion. I think that's what people should.
Yeah, he admitted they played like garbage.
Yeah,
it's when a coach is you know, not admitting that the team played terrible, right? And they come up with all these excuses.
Not much else you can say. 42-6.
I know. Okay, let's move along to the biggest headline of week 3. Like, I'm talking the biggest headline ever in football. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift.
Oh,
there are videos going everywhere where you see like even Mahomes looking up and giggling like a bunch of schoolgirls on the field. They're like, oh, who's that? Oh my God, it's Taylor. And then, you know, Travis is like, it's mine. Well played, sitting with mom. Now she said, I only went because he invited me. He put the invite out there publicly. And of course, if somebody invites you to a football game, you go, okay? Listen, I'll agree with that, Taylor.
Yeah.
And she had a hell of an experience. She ate like a queen in that booth. eating her chicken with ketchup and ranch. I'm telling you. Then she's up there celebrating the touchdown with the chest pump and high fives with Mom Donna. And then, of course, you have Mahomes admitting that he had a lot of pressure on him to throw the ball to Kelsey so that he could get that touchdown. Yeah. What are her thoughts on this? Supposedly she left the room, the locker room at the end of it in this silver box that had some popcorn on it because she didn't want people to see it was her. Is this just a something, hey, paparazzi, hey, fans, hey, just this is a branding thing? Or do you really think that they could be the new it couple? I mean, hey, she's not obviously, normally when an athlete dates an actress or somebody, a public figure, that's bad luck. We've seen that happen. We've seen that happen with football players where they've lost the season, lose games. But she's bringing good luck. Could this be a good thing?
Yeah. Travis
Trailer. We can call them Trailer.
Travis Kelce's not letting that go. He is
holding on for dear life with Taylor.
He won't be letting that one go. Trust me. That guy knows what he's doing. That's all I got to say on it.
I'm already tired of it. I'm like, man, I just want to watch football. And like you said, they cut to her like at least 30 times during the game. And I get that they are just drubbing the Bears. It's like 30-3 at that point. And so they don't have nothing else to talk about. I get it. But this is going to get old quick. I think Kelsey.
They were talking about her before they even, started the game.
I know, but it's like, geez, man, at this point, they're going to overdo it because they don't have nothing else to talk about because the Bears are so freaking terrible. At the same time, you got to be careful with that stuff. Like you said, as a professional athlete, you start to get into these whole high-profile relationships. People start asking questions. Is this distracting Travis from being the great player that he, all those types of little
stuff? Definitely not distracting him.
Well, it's only one game so far.
Did you see his outfit yesterday?
Let's wait 2 weeks.
Has game. He's like living his best life. Like he is so confident right now. Like he nailed a date with Taylor Swift, the biggest iconic classic, like the biggest pop star.
If he starts dropping balls,
I'm telling you.
He's going to make multi-millions off him in the next song because they left together in the car. They left together in his car and they went out and they rented, I think they rented a restaurant for dinner with Travis, Taylor, and the team.
That's when it becomes not about football. That's again, I guess common tradition is old school, but that's when it becomes a problem because now we're talking more about him as a celebrity couple. More than I'm talking to my guy catching 5 balls and 2 touchdowns.
But he's got the podcast. They've
got
the documentary.
Stuff, man. Tracy, I get your excitement, and I hope it works out for them. I really do. But I really hope that he doesn't drop that important pass because Taylor, she's out there smiling at him. He was late to practice one time and they get through because he was too busy partying with Taylor. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm just saying that it is a big headline, and that is what we do at the Kick Six Pod. We have to talk about everything that is happening in football. So one of them being Taylor Swift shows up, and she's watching the Chiefs play. All the guys are on the field. They're all giddy because look at Taylor's watching. There's Taylor. But, I mean, look at the Kelsey family.
That's a lucky mom right there. Yeah.
Mom, she's just nailed the best daughter-in-law. You got to think about it. I mean, a lot of attention came onto her during the Super Bowl because both their sons were playing. Then she's in a Chunky Soup commercial. She's getting endorsements. Now we're starting off the new season here for football, and the Kelseys have dropped a documentary, have a podcast, and we're talking about them. In every headline from everything that they say, we talk about branding. Now, is Donna the new momager? Is she the new Kris Jenner?
Are you saying they playing chess, not checkers? Are you saying Travis maybe knew exactly what he was doing and pulling in this big major pop star to increase it? Because I've really seen Kelsey on a lot
his
of
coach said that
man.
He has a joke at the end of it. The coach said, what did he say? Oh, I introduced the two of them.
They better work. That's all I'm gonna say. If it don't work, he's gonna be on that back page New York Times where they're gonna be saying trailer didn't work. Look at this guy. You know, they take the sleazy pictures of you, like just get out of bed and stuff. So if it doesn't work, the whole world's gonna know about it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, she's just saying she got the invite because he publicly made it that he went to go see her at Arrowhead. Now she should come see him. And there's one thing when you show up to a football game, but there is another when you show up wearing full-on gear of the guy that invited you and sitting beside his mom eating chicken. I'm just going to say they put a lot of stuff out there, a lot to comprehend. So we'll see where it goes. But what is most important right now is that it is Monday and we have 2 games happening very, very soon. I'm sitting at 11-3 this week. I possibly could win first place in my football pool. So I want to know, who are your picks? Who are you going for? We have the Eagles and the Bucks. Coach Kirk Broussard. Coach Kirk, which one are you taking?
Eagles, easy. I don't trust Baker Mayfield. Is Baker Mayfield starting?
Yeah, I'm watching it now. Yeah.
Eagles.
Carlos, who are you taking? Oh yeah, it's already started.
I'm not gonna say I don't trust Baker. He's looked a lot better over the last maybe his 3 games, but the Eagles are definitely a more talented, better team all the way around it. So I definitely would take the Eagles in this one. But you know, Baker's been looking okay these first 2 games. Kirk, you gotta get a little credit here.
But that's what he does. He can look like a all-pro one game and look like he should be at the end of the bench next game. That's what he does.
All do.
He's sporadic. And that's why he's on his 3rd or 4th team, because he's not consistent. That's what he is.
Yeah.
I took the Eagles.
I've never seen a quarterback as bad as he is on so many commercials. I don't know who his agent is, but have you noticed that dude is always on every commercial?
Yeah.
He's never done anything, you know.
Well, I took the Eagles as well. Yes. And then the next game is the Rams and the Bengals. I went with the Bengals on this pick. Who are you guys going with?
I'm gonna take the Rams. I think they're gonna shock some people. Go Rams.
You really? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm right there with Kirk. I'm saying the Rams. I think Joe Burrow's still kind of gimpy on that calf. They keep showing him on here. He just doesn't look right, you know, his movements and his cuts and things like that. So I think, and the Rams have been playing some good ball here. A lot of people under the radar, they took on a very good San Francisco team that gave them everything they wanted just last week. So I think the Rams got something cooking up there. I think the Rams going to pull it off today.
Well, I've learned to expect the unexpected when making picks because you just never know. Like Coach just said, I mean, they play great one week, and then the next week you're like, well, where did you even come from? Like, where's the person that showed up last week? So any last thoughts talking about week 3 at the Kick 6 pod?
Well, I'd like to say that, you know, to everyone, all of our listeners, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the show. As well, look out for, we're going to be starting a new drive, a donation, a campaign. You guys may know from last season, every year I go to the Dominican Republic and I go to orphanages and I feed orphans in the different orphanages. So we're going to be starting a campaign where you can donate and you can help an orphan. And I'm going to be going to the Dominican Republic to several orphanages, buying groceries, buying food, taking it to these orphanages, spending time with these orphans, playing ball with them, you know, just giving back to people that need it. So if you want to help, we're going to put a link in the bottom where you can be a part of helping us help kids in countries that really need it. So I'd like to say that, as well as Carlos, if you can let everyone know where they can find you and find your show, that'd be great as well.
Hey, man, first shouts out to you, man. That's great work that you do. And Kirk does do that every year, guys. So y'all make sure y'all check in with him. Really good stuff coming out of you from there, man. So shouts out to you for that. Shameless self-plug here. Yes, the Sportaholic radio show will be coming back to you here starting on next week. We got some great guests lined up. Got a few different things we're going to do this year, different spins. Something we've been doing for a while. So I'm excited to jump back in the saddle get back to it. I'll be down covering some Titans games, giving you some up and close and personal, in-depth analysis down there on the locker room and in the field with those guys. And we may travel to a couple other games this year as well. So be on the lookout for that. My last words to you guys: if you got the chance to go and make history and kick that field goal and score the last or whatever it is in life, you go ahead and do it. And I'm
Let's
gonna leave it
do
at
it.
that.
See,
it.
I am the exact same way. If you don't do it in that moment, you're not guaranteed to get it back. I mean, it's just simple. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for making this show absolutely amazing. Coach, for everything that you do on and off the show. We will put the links up. We'll put the links up for Carlos. You guys got to follow him. And you know what? We support each other. So if you have any comments about the show, you can comment, but make sure you like and share, and let's get the word out. I'm Tracy Lynn. This is the Kick Six podcast. Guys, let's watch some ball. It's Monday night.
Yeah, let's get to these games and check it out. Hit the like button. If you're watching the show, hit the like button.
Hit that like button.
Thank you.
Travis Kelce would do it, and so would Taylor.
Oh, God.
Bye, guys.
All right. Good show.
Awesome. Okay, bye.